Moviesucktastic is a podcast about bad movies and the people that love them. But it's more than just a podcast. It's also an online presence. If you want to know more about Moviesucktastic or want to become a part of Moviesucktastic, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter at Moviesucktastic. You can find our blog at boothreviews.blogspot.com. Or if you want to give your own reviews that we might use on the show, you can go to reviews.moviesucktastic.com and check out our own little lunch.com community for Moviesucktastic. Check us out and become a part of the show, because the only thing more fun than a bad movie is sharing it.
What is this place?
No one knows for sure.
This place was not built to keep anything out. This place was built to keep something in.
You must not stay here.
Something has been released.
Something.
Did you find what you were looking for? Did you expect to find me?
What are you? Whatever kills us gets in anyway. Nothing we do, no security works.
What's happening to me?
The Keep. The Keep from Paramount Pictures.
You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Dude, no! Oh!
Hello!
Is it over?
It's over!
Oh, thank God.
Or has it just begun?
It's only just begun. Sorry about that. Yes, welcome everyone to Moviesucktastic episode 181.
That's wrong.
182.
I could say keep going, but it's 189.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, because we're 183. No, stop it now. Let's not.
185? No, all right.
Yes, one eggplant.
I know you. Love that movie.
Great film.
We are reviewing the 1983 Michael Mann sleeper cult hit, kind of, sort of, The Keep.
That's
based
right.
on the novel by F. Paul Wilson.
F. Paul Wilson.
Before we go any further, I have to make a correction.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell, the F. Paul Wilson book, The Tomb, is not the movie that it's not the book that the 1980s film The Tomb was based on at all, in the least. Don't know what the fuck I was thinking.
Okay.
Ignore that.
Well, you mentioned it last week, right?
Yes, and
Yeah.
I was wrong. I don't know why that popped into my head. So ignore that.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. You are forgiven.
I'm asking forgiveness. I'm just pointing out my mistake.
Sounds like you're asking for forgiveness.
No, I don't give a shit.
Then you shouldn't have said anything.
Don't criticize me.
Hey.
So we're reviewing The Keep.
Now, this is a movie that I never heard of before. Michael Mann happens to have a couple of not underground, that's the wrong word, unreleased cult films. This being one of them. Another film called Band of the Hand. These two movies alone are probably some of the most culty films that you can get. I mean,
culty.
The only real full cut version of this, and it's not the 210-minute version, which I'm dying to see, but the 96-minute version is the Laserdisc rip that's floating around the internet.
His first cut was like 3.5 hours long.
Yeah, he felt that the trailer that I showed. If anyone has seen the film, you'll notice immediately that most of the trailer, when I mean most, I mean nearly all of it, is not in the movie.
Yeah.
Because there was so much raw footage. Well, you said that the original cut is 3.5 hours?
Yeah,
that's
roughly.
the 210-minute cut. That's 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
So, you just said what I said differently, so
That's right.
How's that vodka?
Ugh, nasty.
I'm drinking water. I could lie and say I'm drinking vodka, but I'm not.
Why would you? But,
all the cool kids are doing it.
Wish.
Peer pressure. So I would love to see the 3.5 hour cut of this movie.
Oh,
I really would, because
I prefer to see the 210-minute version myself.
Yeah, exactly. Don't make me laugh; it hurts. The film is poorly cut. It's poorly edited. The music is cut and edited wrong as well, because Paramount took over. Michael Mann had, his 210-minute cut, and Paramount said, "Listen, you need to cut this more." So he cuts it to 2 hours. They say that's not good enough. So they cut it down to 91, and 91 minutes was the VHS or the video release. The 96-minute cut is the Laserdisc release.
I got a feeling they were like me. They're watching the first cut, and 10 minutes into the film, we're still slowly touring this Romanian village in slow motion. I'm like, would you get to the fucking anything? What are you doing?
And not having seen any of the footage, I tend to agree. But I still want to see it.
Holly did not make it more than 15 minutes through the film.
No shit.
Because the beginning, and I have to admit, I was even like, all right, go ahead, turn it off. I can't. Yeah, it's not going to pick up. There's no speedy parts to this film. This is the pace. If you can't handle it, we might as well bow out now.
Yeah.
Okay. Because even I was like, I don't remember them driving through this Romanian village in tanks in slow motion this long. Yeah.
Michael Mann did a lot of that in this. I mean, and what he did, Paramount kept a lot of it. For instance, most of the scenes involving smoke were filmed in reverse to, what is the main villain's name? Malasser, I believe that's his name. When he materializes, it's just Molisar, it's just smoke going in reverse until it's all the way in him, and then he appears. Man does that a lot in this movie. He does it not there, but just multiple different scenes. He shows a lot of things in reverse. Even the alternate ending of the film is in shot in reverse, and the thing is, I'm sure that they practiced it. I'm sure that they did many different takes, and I'm sure they used the best one, but you can absolutely tell it's being shot in reverse. No fucking way about it. It's just, yeah, okay, she's moving her hand in such a way, and okay, I got it. It's shot in fucking reverse. And some of the smoke effects, when they do that, it works, but for the most part, it doesn't. And for a film that boasts to have 14 different visual and special effects people that have won or been nominated for Oscars, yeah, there's this grand scale that they have this film on, and you can tell that a lot of work was put into it, but you don't care. You really don't.
No.
You could tell that they spent a lot of money on certain things and not a lot of money on a lot of other things. Like the budget I read is supposed to be $6 million, which for a film in 1983 is actually not a lot of money. I think what did Alien cost? $20 million? Something like that? And that was only made 3 or 4 years earlier. Or something like that. So I think the average film in the early 80s was ranging anywhere from 15 to 30 million to make. This film only cost $6, and it looks bigger than that. I will give them that, but there are scenes that you can, it's like, yeah, that's a sound stage, and it's a bad one too. So, can you imagine if this film was ever remastered in HD? You probably see so many more things.
Oh,
just
yeah, but now the problem with that though too is even if they did that, it's a very bleak film.
Yeah,
it's bleak. It could have been black and white. It should have been black and white. There's really no color. It's Nazi.
But wait. I mean,
except for.
Well, no. The only thing that we get to see, the only cuts of this film we get to see, are the VHS and Laserdisc rips. They have been. I mean, how many generations are? All
right. Yeah,
I've seen an HD cut of this movie. It's got a lot more color than you're giving it credit.
Yeah, but it's still, it's a gray mountainside. It's a gray keep. It's black scenes, black uniforms, gray uniforms. There's not much color to it, except occasionally when our hero bleeds green. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
So it's a very bleak film. It's very for a film that has Nazis and supernatural monsters in it. It's very slow.
Oh yeah.
And very deliberate, and there's a lot of talking and quiet tones and discussions and contemplations and dialogue and things like that. So I'm not sure how much it's going to benefit from an HD conversion.
Well,
the picture will be clearer, that's for sure.
The version that I have on the screen is actually from the UK, and it's a satellite rip is what it was called. It's as remastered as you can get for this movie, and
right.
It's got not a lot of color, but I can tell just from this conversion that I can tell a remastered HD rip of this is going to be a little bit more colorful than. You're not wrong. It is a very,
I know.
Like muted film. But it's not. It's not that muted.
But it is. But it's intentional too. I mean, I think what Michael Mann was trying to do in the film, and I haven't watched it in a while, and rewatching it now, really a lot of it comes through. Michael Mann really grabbed onto, sunk his teeth into the kind of metaphors that F. Paul Wilson was playing with in the book, and just the whole idea of the Nazi and he doesn't play it coy either. Half of it's in the dialogue between Prochnow and Gabriel Byrne. That the whole idea about these monsters facing a real monster, and the supernatural versus human, and I mean, there's the symbolism and everything. There's a lot going on, and I think he was so wrapped up in the message that that was the whole point. I mean, this is a bleak landscape. This, that's what the war was.
Right.
I think it's intentional. I don't think he wanted anything, bright. I think the green blood was just like an afterthought or just something to throw in there. It's really just, throwing, giving some heads up to the positive side of the supernatural, but that's what he wanted.
No, and I agree. But I think the film is on iTunes now. I don't believe it's HD, but it's been remastered. I'd love to see that cut of it. I'm sure it's better than what I have.
And now, quick synopsis.
Oh, yeah.
The Nazis are rolling through Romania, and they take over this keep in this little village in a pass. It's like a dead end in a mountain.
That's right.
And there's
'Cause
108 nickel. What?
No, I was going to say because Mein Fuhrer told him to.
Oh yeah, well sure, he's given all the orders. The Nazis, go figure.
Yeah.
And there's like 100. It's a weird keep. It's kind of built inside out, so like the strong stuff, like as Jürgen Prochnow says, it's like you're trying to keep something in. And he's not Russian, but for some reason that's the only thing I can do right now. And I don't think that's Russian.
German. He's German. You can't get more German than Prochnow.
This was actually his first American Hollywood film too.
Oh, was it really?
So, yeah. And boy, he's fucking awesome in this.
Yeah. I like him.
Oh, he's fucking great.
He had just done Das Boot, or The Boat, just a year or two earlier than this?
Uh-huh.
Something like that. Which,
yeah.
Let's put it this way. Jürgen Prochnow is no stranger to long movies. So when he goes and he makes The Boat, Das Boot, which is like a 3.5, almost 4-hour epic, and then he goes right into this, like right after, it's like, you know what? What do you? Can we add another hour? I'm good. That's basically how that went.
He's a German actor. I have the whole script memorized. Just tell me where.
Yes, I got it this morning. I'm good. Let's go. Slackers.
But so they take over this keep, and some Nazis meddle with the nickel crosses in the stone that they're told not to touch because they think it's silver. They release something unspeakable that starts killing off the Nazis one by one. Gabriel Byrne rolls into town. Gabriel Byrne, I think he's one of those people that just looks very comfortable in a Nazi uniform. Just very relaxed.
Weirdest Nazi haircut ever.
And whereas Jürgen Prochnow's character is kind of a sympathetic, humanistic, like the non.
You okay?
They were like the good Germans. I'm not big on history. Bear with me on that. But he's like more sensitive and human. He's doing his job as a soldier.
Yeah.
Gabriel Byrne's like the towing the Nazi line. So he comes into town, and the way you stop this is you kill random civilians until people stop doing it.
Right. You could tell that Jürgen Prochnow is like, maybe the Fuhrer, maybe he's not right about this one. Whereas Gabriel Byrne's like, yeah, not only is he right, but I can do a little bit more fucked up. He'll like that. He'll dig it.
And they disassociate the idea of the difference between just like a soldier, human folly and flaw,
right,
and human brutality and pure evil, which is kind of what the Nazis represent. I don't know why, but that's kind of the thing we've kind of assigned to them. And so Gabriel Byrne, it becomes human evil facing real evil, and then there's a whole subplot with a Jew that almost destroys the world because he's a professor, but kind of stupid.
Yeah, a little dumb.
And then there's Scott Glenn, who I always like to think of as the poor man's David Carradine, and he is some kind of supernatural hero with green blood that senses the evil escaping.
That's
and
right.
then comes to the rescue at the end of the film. I'm kind of giving away the whole plot there, but that's roughly. There's nothing else to it. Actually, that's wrong.
And as Sean would say, that Scott Glenn, it's like his traps are so good. meaning the trapezoids, because they're huge around his neck.
Oh,
yeah. It's like he's pretending to be Michael Mann. He goes, listen, Scott, you got some pretty nice traps already, but we got to make them bigger. Sitting 6 hours of makeup to make his shoulders and neck just look gigantic. They just had to make him look weird.
Well, I think in some way too, they wanted him to be kind of an opposite yet an equal to
Malasar.
Malasar. Who, as you mentioned last episode, I compared the dark side from the DC Comics.
Yeah.
He's got the glowing eyes and the head, really got that dark side feel to him.
As a matter of fact, I have a picture of him here.
Uh-oh.
I'll put him up on the screen for everyone real quick. There we go. Dark side.
Bah!
Bah.
Ah!
I mean, he looks just...
I am from you!
Yeah, I mean, he looks just like fucking... He really does look just like fucking Darkseid.
Yeah.
And I said Doomsday, but I mean, they're both Superman villains. I just got them mixed up. I don't know why, but I did.
It's easy, but yeah, no, I mean, I get Darkseid, and yeah, if you like have a clearer cut of the picture, he's got the glowing red, and then you got the green and the blue with
right.
Glenn, but really, I mean, apart from that, the whole film is just like different shades of gray. And,
yeah, here he is. I got him on there for everyone. That's Darkseid. I mean, you can't get more. It's him.
Oh,
what was the? I don't know when the first appearance of Darkseid was, but I have a feeling that it was before this movie.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, and of course, a young Ian McKellen.
And by young, you what? Like mid-30s?
By young, I mean I'm used to seeing him ancient, so I don't even recognize him as young as he is in this. That's what I mean by young. I mean not 90.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Now, what's interesting about him in this movie is
oh Jesus.
What?
He was born in 39.
Yeah, he's 76.
So he's like in his 40s in this film.
Yeah.
Very young in this movie.
Totally young. So young.
Yeah, he's not Gandalf yet.
Well, no.
Gandalf wouldn't have fallen for Malasar's bullshit.
True.
Run, you fool.
Okay.
And now, can I ask?
Here we go. And this is Malasar. There he is.
Malasar.
For everyone to compare. I mean, it looks just like fucking Darkseid. So, there you go. But no, anyway, the thing with it is that one of the things that I always said about Ian McKellen in The Keep was that Peter Jackson, when he's telling him to do the scene with the Balrog, I always make the joke that he's like, give me a little from The Keep. Come on, give it to me, just a little bit, because there's that scene when he's confronting Malasar where he's got the cross, and he's like, "You must take it," and then he keeps yelling at him, "Take it!" And it's just like, yeah, I could see. It's like, you shall not pass. And it's like, it's the same fucking scene. It's the McKellen. It's just the way he delivers the lines. If I had more time, I was gonna grab both scenes and play them, and we were gonna listen to them, and then just be amazed at how similar they were. But I did not have enough time.
I'd rather just listen to you do them both.
Well,
how would Taylor Kitsch do that line?
I don't know.
Aw, you have fun.
I have no idea. Here's a scene on the screen where man is using smoke in reverse, which
is this also one of the shots where Michael Mann is using titles so small that you can't read them?
Jesus Christ! I mean,
what the fuck is up with that?
Even on a 30-foot movie screen, bigger than that. Movie screens are bigger than that. On a gigantic movie screen, IMAX, whatever you want to do, it's still goddamn tiny, no matter what you put it on.
I swear they get smaller as the film goes.
Yeah.
Like when they tell you where Scott Glenn is, like, what the fuck? What does that say? I can't. Even though when the keep comes up, the keep.
Yeah.
It's like, it's tiny. The name of the film is tiny.
And you know what's interesting too, and I'm sure it wasn't on purpose. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. But I watched the alternate ending today. And the person that put the video together used the same font, the same color, and it's fucking microscopic because it talks about the alternate ending. And I'm like, you I had to pause it so I could fucking read it. It's like, you bastard. It's like, you dick. You can't make this shit any bigger.
What? 8-point font. Deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an 8-point font using fucking Verdana. Go fuck yourself.
And since they took it away from Michael Mann, like I don't even know if it was his choice on that. Maybe, like the studio's like, yeah, just throw the titles in. What's the big deal? Oh, okay, you don't care what's the big deal? Okay, fine.
Yeah, I would imagine that Michael Mann gave Paramount 210 minutes of principal footage, and they just, that's too long. So then he cut it to 2 hours, and they actually test screened that. And they said that it test screened really poorly at 2 hours. So Paramount just said, you know what? We're cutting it down to 97 minutes.
You know,
or 96 and a half.
It's the big dilemma. Because honestly, even at an hour and a half,
right?
Technically, when you watch this film, it feels too long. Because it's a slow film.
Yeah.
But the question is, I mean, obviously, it's a studio. They want to make money. They want to please a large audience. So if a random audience that never wanted to see the film in the first place doesn't like it, and that's a fucking thing too with these test screenings. Take a group of random people, put them in a movie theater. Say, okay, watch this film and tell us if you like it. And you give them like a comedy or an action film. It's easy to get into. You take a bunch of people that have no idea what they're going to watch and plop them down for this slow plotting examination of the inhumanities of man. It's like, well, what the fuck is this?
I know.
Is this over yet? Yeah, it's like, there's our afternoon wasted. Of course they're not going to fucking like it.
And
they didn't ask to see the film.
He presented a 3.5 hour cut during a time when a 2 hour or 2.5 hour film was a rarity. You know, if you had a film that was over 2 hours, that was considered an epic. You know, we hit this stride with movies probably in the
Braveheart.
It was it the early mid 90s. Yeah.
Braveheart. That's when all of a sudden, like, I feel like Braveheart started it. I could be wrong. That's just my personal experience. But like once Braveheart came out, up until then, the common wisdom was that you keep it down to an hour and a half or an hour and 40, so that way you can squeeze in a showing every 2 hours because you need time to clean the theater out, let people in. Anything longer than that, then you have to show it every 2.5 hours or so, and you're losing one showing a night.
Yep.
That's profit loss. Braveheart, or films like that in that time period, challenged that theory, and next thing you know, every film that comes out, it's got to be 3 hours long if it's going to be a blockbuster.
Yeah, it really. I think you're right. I think Braveheart, because even like the year before, Pulp Fiction, 2 hours and 40 minutes. You know, Forrest Gump, it's like almost 2.5 hours. It wasn't until Braveheart where it was like it hit that 3 hour mark that it just seemed like every single year you had at least one or two movies that hit that mark, and they were all getting nominated for Oscars, and then it just became the norm. Then after Lord of the Rings was, every film was 3 hours, and then the special editions were almost 4 hours in 2001. That was it. It's been like that ever since.
Think back to your other blockbuster hits. And I'm just thinking of random ones, but E.T., hour and 45 minutes. Alien, like just a hair under 2 hours.
Yep.
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
All of them. 2 hours.
Which one? All of them are 2 hours?
I think Crusade went over the 2-hour mark by about 10 minutes.
Well, because you're already in the 90s there, so, well, we can't have it under 2 hours.
Well, 89.
So, like, two hours was kind of like that. If you're making something over 2 hours, it better be fucking Ben-Hur or you know, it better be like 2.5 hours was like, okay, now it's an art house film because you're not going to get asses and seats.
Right.
And then it flipped, and now your art house films are like 70 minutes, and then the big budget films, Avengers has got to be 3 hours if we're going to make a dime.
Yeah, I mean, Avengers. Take all 3 Batman films. Each one of those is the last Batman film is almost 3 hours long.
Oh, I mean, I love The Dark Knight.
Yep.
But holy shit! Talk about like by the third ending, I'm like, all right, let's stop it. Yeah. Oh! I thought the movie's not over. There's another ending coming. Oh, okay, we have to tie up every loose end one at a time.
That's right.
You know, good thing they did since Heath Ledger died. You know, they couldn't carry that over, but still.
Even The Dark Knight Rises didn't have as much. You know, it had a third act. Didn't have a fourth one. It had a third act. So.
But half the movie was the third act. It was like just the opposite problem. Like, oh, okay, Gotham's still under terrorist hold, right? Oh,
I still.
it's like fucking seasons are passing in the third act. Like, oh, okay, now it's winter.
Yes.
What the fuck?
I thought that was great.
I like the film. But you know, criticism where it's due.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that Christopher Nolan's, and we're completely off topic, but I'll just say this and then we can move on. His trilogy, his Batman trilogy, one of the best trilogies for comics, maybe even film, in a really long time. I mean, I can't think of a trilogy that's as good, if not better. So, maybe Lord of the Rings, maybe the Indiana Jones films. But since we're talking those.
Indiana Jones. You know my feeling on the Last Crusade. That was a fucking joke.
Well, you know what? Compare it to Crystal Skull, and it's a masterpiece. And for some reason, I still feel the need to own Crystal Skull. I shouldn't. I should have. I should just forget it and that it ever existed.
I have 3 copies of the goddamn movie. I have 3 copies of the.
Why?
I've got the original. I've got the copy. I've got the Riff Tracks version, and then I have a fan edit where they cut out like all the goofy shit.
You know, you can take the audio from the Riff Track if the runtime is the same and move it into your original and just make.
It actually is. I'm just saying I have 3 versions of it, but it's really 2. You ruined it. Thank you. It sounded better when I said I had 3, but.
Yeah, well.
No, I'm lucky. Most of my Riff Tracks have dual audio, so there's only
good.
a few like over the top that I have 2 separate ones.
And with Plex, you can choose which one is the default, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. I don't do that because I never know who's going to want what, but it's there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean.
But anyway.
But yeah, the 80s was not a time to pull a 2.5-hour version of this.
Or 3.5
on an unsuspecting test audience. You can't do it. It's
and no, it wasn't even. It was a 2-hour cut, and they were like, "No, sorry."
I mean, just to play devil's advocate, just imagine a test screening audience for 2001.
Oh yeah, people didn't appreciate that until years later, I think.
Well, the mainstream didn't. The art house,
they loved
crowds,
it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what kept it going. But I mean, just imagine test screening that. You're like, oh, geez. How about an ending? So let's reshoot the ending. Yep, cinematic masterpiece, fucking gone.
Yep.
And at least Kubrick wasn't like fucking Lucas was like, oh, let me go back and reshoot my own films for audiences so they're more fun.
What a cunt.
Fucking whore.
This is why I don't own, and I'm proud to say I don't own the George Lucas special edition versions of Star Wars. I did download those off the internet. You know why? Because somebody out there with the fucking balls took all of the original matte paintings for backgrounds, lightsaber, Greedo doesn't shoot first, and put them all back in, meticulously back in, to the original theatrical versions. He even
frame
took...
by frame.
It's ridiculous. It's called Harmy's despecialized editions. If you go out and you search that, you can find it.
Google it.
Absolutely Google it. And he has a great site, or there's a link to a site where it shows comparisons, the Lucas version and then what he put back in. He went so crazy that he took lightsaber color and matched it to the theatrical version.
You know what?
Crazy.
I mean, I was going through some of his descriptions just to get a feel for how detailed it was. Like, there's shit that, I mean, I'm not a Star Wars fan per se, so I don't care about a lot of it. You know, I don't like the extra shit. And yeah, you know, Greedo didn't shoot first. What the fuck? You know, why don't we go and put like lights? Let's put flashlights in their hands instead of guns next, assholes.
Yeah, I also have an alternate cut or the original cut of E.T. as well, where they have guns.
Yeah, that right. I'm going through it, and there's like the one part where it's like, oh, I fixed the moons because in this shot on Tatooine or whatever, the moons, he changed them, and I put the originals back. So who gives a fuck about the moon? That guy does.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm so glad he does, because you're not going to... Disney, when they release the original trilogy in their original theatrical cuts, because they're going to do that. Because they're going to make a fuckload of money, and they'll probably... I agree with you. They'll probably do it after this next new trilogy is done and release all 9, or who knows when they'll do it, but they're gonna do it. I doubt that they will get as close to what this guy did for the original trilogy for Star Wars. I mean, the fucking guy took the definitive Laserdisc, okay? The original trilogy on Laserdisc, the definitive ones, the ones with like the CAV, it's like 9 laser discs per movie, because the CAV is only 30 minutes aside. So he took those. Any of the scenes that were not in HD, he put back in from the Laserdisc and up-converted it to HD. And you can't fucking tell the difference. The guy went nuts, and I'm so happy he did. Because it's the only version I'll watch. It's the only version I'll tell people to watch. Harmy's Despecialized Edition. Go get it.
Definitely.
Anyway, The Keep.
The Keep. Yeah, The Keep. I mean, but it's unfair. I want to see the 2.5-hour version, because Michael Mann is not an incompetent filmmaker.
3.5.
You know?
Oh, no.
I mean, even Manhunter is slow in a lot of parts. It's a slow, dark... And again, it's a slow, dark film. It's kind of monochrome. I would argue the same thing. I think it's his style.
Yep.
I don't think he goes for a lot of color, because I think he's really trying to go for this like darkness around him. Am I wrong in saying Michael? No, Michael Mann, Manhunter, right?
Michael Mann. Yeah, that's Michael Mann. Yeah, Miami Vice, Manhunter.
Right. Wow, let's not bring Miami Vice into this.
No, but even the TV show Miami Vice, and it's a colorful. Miami's a colorful city. That show too was muted in its own way.
But I think it's really unfair. Looking at this film now, it's easy to say it's a bad movie because some of the special effects are subpar, and because the editing's not that great, because they just chop the shit out of it to try to fit it down to 1.5.
And that's why I'd love to see the 3.5-hour cut, because it's supposed to be, the music is supposed to be not, because they say you go from scene to scene that's edited poorly. The music is just, you can tell it's been stopped, and it's a Tangerine Dream soundtrack. I like Tangerine Dream, and I think that music works well in Michael Mann movies. Specifically Manhunter.
I agree with that, with Tangerine Dream, and with it working well in Michael Mann films. I think this is the exception to the rule.
I like this soundtrack.
No, I do not like the soundtrack.
I really like the soundtrack.
No, I think it does not fit the film. I personally did not care for it. I could have done with a lot less Tangerine Dream in this one. That's the one thing I have to disagree with you on.
And that's fine.
Yeah, I just didn't I was like, eh. Just didn't care for it. Wow, what kills me is just when you look at some of like the Photoshop, not Photoshop, but like Photoshop DVD covers where they hire some graphic arts major just change it. We can't use the original movie posters to make something new, and they just take elements from the poster and
Yep.
And they just like change the font and shit. And I'm looking at these like DVD covers of The Keep, and then they show they show the monster on the cover, and then behind The Keep there's a Nazi symbol. You get it? Oh man.
Yeah, the poster that I have that I'm using for my Plex is I think it's the one from the original movie poster, where it's The Keep looks like the actual keep from the film,
like a building. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the original movie poster. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like
Back
it.
when they actually made. Yeah. What? You don't like it?
It's okay. Could use a little
It's not
bit
somebody
more.
looking over their shoulder. It's not
Well,
just full heads.
It's not the girl grabbing the guy's tie. I get it. I know.
Yeah. But I think it's easy to just shit talk the film and say it's a bad movie, and in some ways it kind of is. But really, there's a lot of really good performances in it. There's a lot. Anything with any scene with Gabriel Byrne and Jurgen Prochnow, just turn it up all the way, because he's gonna mumble, and just drink it in, because that is fucking acting at its best.
And I hear that the iTunes, the remaster that they have, all of those scenes where they're mumbling, they said you can understand it better. Because the sound because the sound has been remastered too. So I'm surprised that no one has taken that, and like there are people that are just crying to have this remastered. There's a guy I saw, I think you are the one that pointed me in the direction of it. He like made his own box set for it. Like he designed it himself. It's like the box looks like the Keep, like the building. It's like it opens up like almost like a dollhouse, and there's like the discs are inside. He made it himself, and he's like presenting it to Paramount to say, "Listen, we can do this. Let's do this." I thought you pointed me in the direction of it, but
it must have been a while ago, because I don't recall.
It was when we watched it at Sean's house. It was like later that week or 2 weeks later. That was like, what, 4 years ago?
I that's something I could definitely see myself doing.
Yeah. I would love to see a complete like director's cut. Like Michael Mann got all the footage and was able to cut it, even if it's not the 210-minute version, just a version that he approves, maybe a 3-hour, maybe even a 2.5 hour, just a more complete cut. I wonder what he could do with that much footage.
Well, they did release an official soundtrack of the film.
Oh yeah? I should get my hands on that.
Yeah, it's out there. Do you know they made a board game?
Oh God, did they really?
I read that somewhere while I was watching the film. I'm like just looking stuff up online. There's a fucking board game that they designed because they assumed it was going to be such a big hit. There is a Keep board game. I want that. I have no idea what it looks like. I didn't look it up or anything. I just saw that and said, "Yeah, that's for me." Oh, and there it is, the Keep board game. I just found it. I want that. I want it. It looks. It actually. It's like a board game, but it looks like one of those in-depth board games, like strategy board games.
Right.
If I'm looking at the right one here.
Here, let's take a look. They thought it was going to be a big hit. Let's take a look at some movies that were released in 1983. Specifically, this film came out in June, so they were trying to go for blockbuster. Let's see. Nothing really in January. Although The Year of Living Dangerously is a January movie. I bet that's a limited release in 82 and a wide release in 83. The Entity comes out in February 1983. Great date movie.
Nice. Welcome home, cunt.
And Videodrome came out the same weekend.
You know, if you put that line in any Paranormal Activity film, it would just improve that film by 100%.
Probably.
I would kill to have that. Just like watch that would be great.
Oh, King of Comedy in February. All right, let's go right to June. Let's see what it was up against. Okay, The Man with Two Brains.
Yay!
Psycho 2. War Games. Oh, wait a minute. The movie was now, if I remember, The movie was supposed to come out in June 3rd, but they pushed it because Paramount was still cutting the shit out of it. So it actually was released December of 1983. But let's see what it would have gone up against in June. Just that weekend alone, it was Man with Two Brains, Psycho 2, and War Games. All that weekend.
War Games, wow.
Yeah. Trading Places the following week. Octopussy 2 days later. The following week, Superman 3. Then a week after that, Porky's 2, Twilight Zone, and a personal favorite of mine, Yellowbeard.
I have to revisit that. I haven't.
I do too. I haven't seen it in a while. All right, December. Here we go. Oh boy. December 9th was Christine, Scarface, and Sudden Impact, all in the same weekend. That's a fucking that's a heavy lineup right there. Then the following week was Silkwood. There's Oscars all over that one. All right, December 16th, the weekend that The Keep comes out. You have DC Cab, Gorky Park, The Man Who Loved Women, To Be or Not to Be, Two of a Kind.
I saw To Be or Not to Be in the theater.
Did you really?
I saw that in the theater, yeah.
Jesus Christ. Uncommon Valor, Reuben, and The Keep. They released 8 movies that weekend. That is a lot of fucking movies for a weekend. I mean, holy shit. And then Chattanooga Choo Choo and Walking the Edge to end the year on December 31st. So, yeah, it was pretty much destined for failure. Made $3 million, cost $6 million, and Michael Mann was allowed to direct again, which is obviously good.
I have an idea for a show.
Okay.
I think we should get together and play a movie in the background while we play the board game based on the movie.
Oh, dear Lord.
But just like put highlights together, not show like the entire thing, but like just like record it and clip, edit, do some editing for a change. But I think that we should do that.
Hey.
Now I'm very upset because while you're going over that, I'm like doing a quick search on eBay and stuff, and I can't find the Keep board game anywhere for sale.
Oh.
Nobody's got this fucking thing. I'm very upset.
I'm sure it might actually be worth a pretty penny if someone does have it.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't think so?
You know what?
Just because it's not on eBay.
No. Board games are weird that way. Like just because it's old doesn't mean it's gonna sell for a lot.
Right.
And I'm coming across some right now. If it's not a name that's popular, good luck. I don't know. It could go either way. But I mean, that would be an awesome Christmas gift if anybody listening was looking for. But it's impossible to find, so it's not even fair saying that.
Is it on Amazon? You could put it in your wish list.
No, it's not, dude. I can't even find any like real articles on it. I can find pictures of it if I do a search. There's hardly anything. There's one website's got a review about it. One of those, a blog on board games has some stuff on it.
Who made it?
And it looks
Hasbro or something.
It's a Mayfair game.
Mayfair.
Actually, it looks like a dull game too. it looks as long and boring as the movie.
That's funny.
There was also and it says here there was also an RPG module based on it.
Oh wow!
Now I need to know about that. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a great idea. I mean,
they really went all out. I mean, because it was supposed to be a June release. 3 to 6 players, playing time 45 minutes. Suggested age 10 and up. Category horror movie TV radio.
Radio.
I don't know why it says radio theme.
I I mean, that's one of the weird things about, like, I would say the '60s through the '90s was that the bizarre things they would try to capitalize in as far as merchandising goes, like making games out of things, and like just like, remember the Rambo cartoon and Rambo cereal? Rambo cereal? Really?
I ate Rambo cereal at one point.
Me too. Doesn't mean it was a good idea.
Nope.
You know? The cartoon wasn't a good idea.
Oh, God. And I watched it every day.
Well, yeah. I just, wow. It's mind-boggling. I mean, there's a whole, our culture is just fucked. And it's a beautiful labyrinthine, multifaceted kaleidoscope of fucked up. And it's just, every time you think you got a handle on the culture, you just look and say, they made a board game for the keep, and it just, like, everything resets. It's like, oh, all right, I don't know anything. I have to start all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why'd you do that?
I don't know.
You know, it gets to the point. You know, it's like like Hello Kitty vibrators. Like, oh, okay, I have to reset again.
Sure.
And then you keep board game, reset. You can't fucking keep up.
Jesus vibrators. I mean, they're all out there. Jesus butt plugs.
Well, that's religious, but it.
But still, still kind of messed
like a
up.
good butt
plug? Hey, let's. I think we'd ask, but we probably wouldn't find anyone that is opposed to it. I'm sure there'd be plenty of people.
Oh, maybe the person reading this book on Hillary Clinton I have. But that's a different podcast.
Ah, yes, it is.
Now, as far as a challenge for you. Before we get to that,
we're gonna
let's rate this.
Let's rate it.
Right now, it's 5.8 on IMDb.
Okay.
I'll let you make the first suggestion.
Well, I don't want to. I think 6 is too high and 5 is too low. I'd love a middle ground. We can never do that with IMDb.
I think 5's too low.
I think 6. I think I'd be okay with a 6 because I know there's a better film here. That Paramount really is the one that fucked it up. You know?
Yeah, and also, I mean, there is substance to the film and the dialogue, and there's some great dialogue scenes and everything. Yep. And it's just, it's hard to tell what could have been without seeing that original cut. So, I mean, I think in all fairness, it deserves a 6 just for, and also, to be fair too, this is a film that's not, it doesn't try to excuse itself. It doesn't try to play cute or funny,
right,
or make light. Michael Mann said, all right, I'm making a serious film on a serious book about a serious topic of Romanian demons. And he keeps to that.
Yeah.
Not really demons, but I'm paraphrasing. I mean, and it takes a lot of balls to make a film in the 80s that you could consider a horror film, but isn't really a horror film. And I think it deserves at least a 6. I can't in good conscience give it a 5.
Yeah, I agree with a 6. I mean,
6.
Yeah,
6 it is.
6 it is. Now I remember reading that F. Paul Wilson was obviously disappointed with the movie, and I thought I read that he was disappointed with Michael Mann, but I wonder if that has changed because he now knows that Michael Mann did try to make a better film. You know, he's got a 3.5-hour movie dedicated to his book. I would imagine that, that's going to be a much different movie than what he saw.
F. Paul Wilson isn't like a mainstream name like Stephen King or,
Kuntz.
Yeah, but who?
Kuntz, Dinar Kuntz.
Dinar Kuntz, correct. But he is a prolific author. He has written dozens of novels. This is one. The Keep is actually the first in a series, and he had like 5 different like cycles, you could call them, and they actually intertwined with each, like really like a complex tapestry of intertwining mythologies throughout these books. Yeah, very interesting. I tried to read them all, but my attention span, as far as reading series of novels, does not bode well. After 2 or 3, I need to move on to something different. So I think he there's a lot involved in what he writes. There's definitely a deep mythos, and seeing that just kind of like fucked up in the book, in the movie, there's a main aspect to the whole idea that it's supposed to be a vampire, but it's not. It's like the whole play on mythology, and they lose that in the movie, and it's a major turning point in the book. When you lose that reveal, it's kind of like, you lose a bit of that edge. And I can see him upset about that too, because that's the flow of the book. But real quick, the keep on IMDb, 5.8 is the average.
Oh yeah,
7,700 reviewers.
It's not a lot.
And the majority of raters have agreed with us and gave it a 6, 20%.
Okay.
Lowest demographic, females under 18. Only 2 have rated the film, and they didn't like it. 4-star average.
Wow.
Highest demographic, males under 18. Only 4 have seen it, and they liked it enough to give it an average of 6.5.
Look at that.
Everybody else is around 5.5 to 6.
Yep.
Except the IMDb staff, 4 of them gave it an average of 5.8.
Fucking
IMDb staff.
Although it says 17% gave it a 7. 1,300.
Yeah. It's been a long time. So there's 2 kind of arcs you can get. It's like this has like your typical arc where everybody, the majority of people rated it around 6. The rating's around 6, and everybody kind of tapers off. It's like a mountain. A true cult film, in my experience, and we have not stumbled on one in the ratings in a while, is a horseshoe, where the highest ratings are 10 and 1, and everybody else falls in that 5. Like it kind of fades off. So like you have very few people in the middle. It's like a horseshoe, right. because that's one of those films that either you love this motherfucker or you despise it, but there's no middle of the road.
Yeah, that is true.
It's just weird, and it's not as common as I once thought when I would stumble upon that, and it's interesting. Even a film like this has like a common ground instead of just that kind of cult film, and that's what I see as cult films. When I see cult film, I really think of something where it's either you have on the one side you have rabid devotees, on the other side people that just don't get it and actually don't like it because they don't get it, and maybe you know what it is. I think with like DVD and streaming video and stuff, more people are watching films, and maybe attitudes towards films are a bit more informed than they used to be.
That's a definite possibility. Sure.
Possibility. I'm talking on my ass, but yeah.
Hey, you don't have to say that.
Nope, I don't.
Keep them guessing. All right, so challenge for me. Do I get a crack at trying to guess?
I kind of threw it together. I didn't have any inspiration during the film. Nothing spoke out to me.
Nothing. Okay.
Not really. So, I mean, I'm gonna kind of sidle over. You know what I want to do? I do have a connection. When you challenged me to this, you said this is a film we haven't done and we should have.
Right, but my connection.
Right. My connection is a film that we haven't done but should have.
Oh, okay. I like it.
And we're finally gonna get to this motherfucker. We have talked about it every third episode since we started, and goddamn it, we're gonna review it next episode.
So it's obviously Gymkata.
Fuck yes, it's Gymkata. It's about goddamn time we get around to one of the best, the litmus test for bad movies, the benchmark for Moviesucktastic.
Yeah, we're gonna clean our slate that night, and we're gonna give it the due review it deserves.
Oh, I'll read my entire.
Don't read the book.
Thesis.
Oh, okay.
No, I'll read my entire thesis. No, you probably want me to read the book instead. Thesis was kind of. Yeah.
Well, I can't remember the last time that you read. You know what? I do remember the last time you read from the book, the game, because I have it in the synopsis, so I can actually tell you where you left off, so you can.
Olive oil.
Olive oil.
You know what? I've read the whole book since then because I wrote the paper on right. the book and the movie, and honestly, the best parts of that I may just go back and reread those scenes. I'll reread one of those just for the hell of it because that was the fucking best.
I could play the audio clip from it to start the show. You know what? That's what I'm going to do.
You should do that. You play that. I am going to be talking about the book as well as the film.
Okay.
So be warned, but I'm not going to get too pedantic on it. I'm just going to bring up interesting things.
Good.
That parallels, but mostly it's going to be about the film.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
So tune in next week for Jim Cotta. Our very first bad movie day involved Jim Cotta. That was no, that's not true. That's not true. Our very first bad movie day was Tron. Our second bad movie day involved Jim Cotta. And that was the movie because we named the show. We knew we were doing a podcast. We knew that we might have something. And we did Tron in August, and we had a ton of people over. I barbecued. It was awesome. One of the best times I've had ever. And we showed the movie outside. But then we did another bad movie day in October when the podcast actually premiered. And we definitely knew we had something when we put on Jim Cotta, and we just had like two people just like, seriously? They just looked in our direction and they're like, what? Seriously?
I think the difference was when we did Tron with a bunch of people together, most people were our age and they remembered Tron as kids. So there was like a kind of a novelty factor and a nostalgia. And even if we were knocking the film, everybody kind of enjoyed it when they were kids. Most of the people that came to the second one had never seen Jim Cotta. And if they
nobody heard of it.
Yeah, and if they did remember it like I did from their childhood, it was just like a glance, like a brief thing of, oh, yeah, there was a trailer, and they played it on HBO a couple of times. I may have saw a piece of it. And I still love with everybody got in and we started playing it, and then like maybe 45 minutes into it, somebody says, we don't have to finish watching this, right? And you and I were like, yes, we do!
And we have 3 more movies lined up. Actually, I think we lost everyone after Jim Cotta, and we've told this story a few times. We lost everyone after Jim Cotta, and then Scott and I tried to watch, or we didn't try, we did, The Black Hole.
Black Hole.
Oh man.
Well, it started off with the pre movie was Alone in the Dark with Christian Slater.
Yep.
And people started showing up like near the end of it because everybody showed up late, and then Jim Cotta was the main event.
Yep.
And then after that, we're like, all right, we got another one. And everybody's like, nah, we're fucking done.
We're done.
We're done.
But Scott and I were like, we got to watch Black Hole.
But it became an endurance test.
We kept waking each other up.
Yeah, it's like, fuck you. I'm not. No. If I'm watching this, you're watching.
Stop it. Don't make me laugh.
My favorite part is like I remember like near the end, we're both like half awake. I remember turning and go, wait, are they climbing up? Are they like climbing up that thing in outer space now?
They're ascending a ladder in space.
They're in space, right? Whatever. I don't know.
I didn't realize Ernest Borgnine was so nimble. Oh man.
Yeah, Jim Cotta. We're gonna burn that fucker down.
Good. It's about time. It's one of the wallpapers for our website, for Christ's sakes. And I went out of my way and made that specifically for you. It was a request. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. You got the Semaphore Ninja.
That's right. All right. Episode 189. It almost feels like we're going to do it next week, but it almost feels like we should hold Jim Cotta to our 200th episode. Like, we should plan something.
All right, let's do Cool World instead then.
No. We're doing Jim Cotta. We can figure out something else for 200. Anyway, all right, everybody. Go to our website at Moviesucktastic.com. Download any of the shows there. You can listen to the show live every week, Thursdays at 8 p.m. You can listen to the show right on the site. You can go to iTunes and download or listen to the show there as well. You can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Moviesucktastic. Everything we talk about, everything we post goes there. You can also go to our Tumblr page at moviesucktastic.tumblr.com. If you want to leave us voicemail, the number is 908-514-4470. If you want to email us, the address is themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. And if you want, we highly recommend downloading the Android app, 100% free. Everything I just said is in the app. You should definitely grab that. If you want to do a search for us, Scott likes Google. Ow. Just do a search for Moviesucktastic, and lo and behold, the amount of shit that comes up. Japanese porn sites grabbing our Exotica coverage from like 4 years ago. It's pretty.
Really?
It's pretty crazy, yeah. Which I'm still getting in trouble for.
Pictures I took.
It is your fault, but it's nor here nor there. Anyway, all right, and that about does it. Do you have any words of wisdom for us?
Jim Carter.
Jim Carter. All right, everybody. Talk to you next week.
Oh yeah.
Bye bye.